And one thing I meant, well, the three wise men of racing join us from Melbourne, Keith Hillier, Jimmy Cassidy and Max Presnell. And Max, this man Cummings just seems to get it right on that first day in November.
Aptly called the Bradman of racing. There's no doubt about it. When it comes to racehorses, Bart is a freak.
Jim, did you expect Saintly to go the 3,200 metres?
Did I?
No, Jim?
Oh, sorry, David. I thought he was probably a bit of a risk, but, you know, trained by Bart Cummings, you can never underestimate Bart, and as we know, he's 10th Cup and great performance.
Well, Keith, Bart is going to take Saintly across a little bit early for the Japan Cup, but he's been there before, he knows what he's doing, but can Saintly perform with a possible suspension not being lifted against Darren Beedman?
Well, I think Saintly's a very good horse in his own right. Mind you, he's taking on the Arc winner, or will, in Japan. But just back to Bart, his 10th Melbourne Cup, it's a record that we won't see the likes of again, David, in our lifetime. And he did it differently this time. He came through the Cox Plate. Each of his previous 9 winners of the Melbourne Cup had raced on Derby Day. This time, Saintly didn't do that. And Saintly joined Far Lap and a small band of those who had won the Melbourne Cup after winning the Cox Plate, but he became only the first horse to win the Cox Plate and the Melbourne Cup without a race between. So we're talking about a great racehorse, an outstanding trainer, and throw the jockey in to make up the trilogy. He's one of the best I've seen, Darren Beedman.
Well, let's go back to Tuesday. A bit of history in the Melbourne Cup. The 10th win for trainer Bart Cummings, the 2nd for Darren Beedman, and a sensational performance by the winner Saintly.
And this great race has begun. Saintly, one of the best to jump away with Arctic sent towards the inside. Skybow, Alcove, nothing like a Dane up there early. Oscar Schindler allowed to drift back a little bit early. Grey Shots racing forward, so too is Court of Honour. Then Estadart followed by Centico. Count Chivas behind them. He's getting back in the early part. Fewer Chosen's wide out, but he is going forward from his wide alley. And then Super Slew, followed by the Bandit around the Phantom Chance. Cheviot drifting back to the tail of the field. DeRemus is third last, and Boart's back to second last. Coming down the straight on the first circuit in the Foster's Melbourne Cup of 1996. And the leader is Grey Shot. Fewer Chosen going up on the outside of it second. Then Centico on the outside of Court of Honour, and nothing like a Dane into a beautiful spot, 50 inside. They were followed by Saintly racing on the inside of El Cove, Istadard 3 wide and Super Slew 4 deep. Then My Kiwi Gold around Circles of Gold, and on the inside Count Chivas. A length and a half to the stablemates. The Bandit on the inside of the Phantom Chance. A length and a half to Senator on the inside of Oscar Schindler. 1.5 lengths to Arctic Scent around it Skybow. Then Sapio 4th last on the inside of DeRemus, and at the tail is Boart on the outside of Cheviot. Along the Maribyrnong River side of the track, 2,000 metres to go. About 10 or 12 lengths would cover up first from last. And the big field of 22 is headed by Grey Shot. His lead is about 1.5 lengths. Few Are Chosen running second, and nothing like a Dane. Few Are Chosen stablemate is third on the inside. Super Slew just trapped a little bit wide on the outside of Court of Honour. Then Saintly having a lovely run, 6th on the rails. Centico, the outsider of the field, is out 3 wide around El Cove, and then came Count Chivas the inside. Back midfield, Circles of Gold racing between Estadart and the Bandit, taking all the shortcuts on the rails. Then came Senator, followed by My Kiwi Gold, the Phantom Chance. Wonder Oscar Schindler, then Arctic Scent on the inside of Skybow from Sapio to Remus. Cheviot and Boart last, and still about 12 lengths off the leader, Grey Shot. 1,300 metres left to go. Grey Shot leads 1.25 lengths. Few Are Chosen second. Nothing like a Dane's had a lovely run through the rails. A length further back to Super Slew. Another 1.5 lengths then to Saintly. A half to Court of Honour. Then came Count Chivas racing on the inside of El Cove. Centico's out 3 wide. Then came the Bandit, Circles of Gold. Estadart around it about 2 lengths away. Then to Senator. They were followed by the Phantom Chance. Further back then to Arctic Scent. My Kiwi Gold going up around the midfield from Oscar Schindler. He's on the outside of Arctic Scent and Skybow, and then DeRemus, Sapio, Cheviot and Boart still last of all. 800 metres to go in the Foster's Melbourne Cup, and it's Grey Shot now being pressured by Few Are Chosen. Super Slew to third, a length away, nothing like a Dane, followed by Court of Honour. Centico next, and Saintly's on the inside, followed by Estadart as they turn for home. Now Saintly taken to the outside and is starting to work into it. It's Grey Shot being tackled by Nothing Like a Dane. Nothing Like a Dane took the lead. Here is Saintly. Saintly's coming after him. Count Chivas working into the race. Then Super Slew, followed by Senator running on. Oscar Schindler struggling. Saintly hit the lead in the Melbourne Cup. He drew a length in front of Nothing Like a Dane. Count Chivas. Skybow running on. Saintly in front for Darren Beedman. Bart Cummings has got his 10th Melbourne Cup. Saintly's going to win the Melbourne Cup for Darren Beedman and Bart Cummings. Saintly first. Second placing goes...
Just looking for hard luck stories. Jim, what did you think of the run of Doremus and more particularly the ride of Damien Oliver on Doremus?
Well, I was probably just a little bit disappointed under the weight, Max, that he had him as far back as he did. You can't give horses like Saintly that big a start in the Melbourne Cup and expect to pick him up and run him down. If you look at Doremus over the last furlong, he does make up a lot of ground on the winner, but really in an impossible position, giving Saintly so much start, especially under the weight, Max.
Sky Bow finishes very tenaciously there in the pink cap, goes to the line. Well, certainly he was the lightweight run of the race, but apart from perhaps Doremus, there were no hard luck stories.
I think the Cup 2's at the crossroads for the international competitors, because Grace Shot, who led and finished 7th, was the only one of the 3 that fired. A very expensive exercise to bring a horse out, Max, and I'm sure that connections of other international horses will now consider this. I mean, Oscar Schindler was the highest rated runner we've had.
Yes, I think it's the acclimatisation factor, Keith. Like, they don't reproduce their European form here, but I wouldn't be surprised if Dermot Well, the Irish wizard, is just working on one for next year. And I think that's the difference. You've got to set a European horse for the Melbourne Cup. You can't come here after the Arc and so forth. The Melbourne Cup has got to be the target.
Yeah, certainly a wonderful day for Bart Cummings on Tuesday. Cummings, Friedman and Len Smith, the 3 trainers of the place getters there, and you could have box trifected them on the Thursday in the Oaks. Len Smith, the Adelaide trainer, getting some compensation from the 3rd placing in the Melbourne Cup when the 60-to-1 shot My Brightia with Glenn Boss aboard scored in the Oaks.
100-metre mark, Lady Reba taking off out deep. Derobe going up to Angel's Image. Karma biting 3 out. Superb Lady 4 out. Dashing Eagle waiting for the run and right off the track. Lady Reba and further out Fairway Lass. Into the straight they come now at the 400 Angel's Image from Derobe. 2 to Dashing Eagle, put under pressure now by Beatman. Denendry's getting up on the inside and going home better than the stablemate at the moment from Fairway Lass. It's Angel's Image in front. Here comes Denendry, followed by Derobe, and My Brightia starting to run home well in the middle. My Brightia's getting home. It's Derobe, and on the inside Angel's Image and My Brightia up on the fence. The bolter My Brightia's getting up to Derobe, and My Brightia. My Brightia's won the Oaks. I think Denendry grabbed second.
Well, the first Group 1 win in Melbourne for Glenn Boss. In fact, the first win at Flemington for Glenn Boss. We all wished he'd waited another day, Max. And the surprise was Dashing Eagle, Bart's second string runner, being backed into favouritism. Denendry, who you'd thought would have had better form, looked to have the race beat until the blouser came.
Yes, it's just surprising that with her staying blood that she just does not get to the line in these long-distance races, Dashing Eagle. But just about the ride of the carnival, I'd say, Glenn Boss. He took the inside split where Denendry went out wide, and that's certainly what won him the race.
Well, the final meeting yesterday was at Flemington to wrap up a fantastic week, and one of the highlights was the Chrysler Stakes, and it appears that the Hayes stable has a real mortgage on this event. The last 5 years have dominated. Yesterday, R.S. Dye aboard Miss Margaret to score in a roughhouse event.
The light, racing this time, came out in a good line. Miss Margaret and on the inside, Rose of Portland bounced away quickly. They landed in front from Catalan Opening. There's a New Zealander, Mr. Marconi, whipping around the outside. Catalan Opening trying to go with him. And when they settle down, Mamselle Padrille is also pulling its way forward. Sorting themselves out, Mr. Marconi, headstrong from Miss Margaret on the inside from Mamselle Padrille. 2 or 3 further back then in the race came Catalan Opening, followed by Scenic Royale. Rose of Portland now drifted back around a Wen Sabre suit from Lockray. Then Station Hand Shame, Seascay, Salius, well back Buzz Off, Kingston Bay, and simple as that. 1,000 to go. And on the outside, Headstrong goes up to Mr. Marconi, 2 to Mamselle Padrille pulling third. 4th on the fence, Miss Margaret, 1.5 further back, Sabre Suit. Then Catalan Opening over on the inside. Salius is out 4 wide around Station Hand. Kingston Bay off the track from Rose of Portland, 1 off the fence. Further back in the race, Scenic Royale. Shame taking off now from Lockray, Buzz Off. Seascay back second last, and simple as that, last of all. 600 to go. And the leader on the inside here, Mr. Marconi from Headstrong. Mamselle Padrille makes a line of 3, a line of 4, Kingston Bay. Salius 5 wide, behind them Miss Margaret. They're followed further back by Sabre Suit, Rose of Portland pushing through in the middle. Then Scenic Royale, a fair way back in the race. Then Lockray, Shame and Buzz Off down the outside. In the straight, Mamselle Padrille, Headstrong, and now Miss Margaret getting up on the inside. Miss Margaret got the rails run, grabbed Headstrong at the 150. Miss Margaret a neck in front of Headstrong. Wider out Scenic Royale, but Miss Margaret pinched a break. Might get a home. Scenic Royale coming late, but Miss Margaret, 3/4 Scenic Royale ahead third.
Definitely Scenic Royale was the run of the race because it was run at a dawdling pace early. Miss Margaret up on the tempo with a lightweight certainly had an advantage considering the way it was run. But a good ride by Shane Dye. That run there, Jim, I think it was indicative of the way Dye rides. Perfectly positioned, went through the opening, and that's what won the day. But by gee, Scenic Royale got to the line very quickly in an event that wasn't run to suit.
Yeah, it was good to see Billy bounce back. He's had a quiet carnival, and I liked his little comment at the presentation that he hadn't ridden a winner over the carnival, but had still been riding in great form.
OK, one of the other feature races yesterday at Flemington was the Queen Elizabeth Stakes over 2,531 metres, and the champion Newcastle stayer Valance had a pretty luckless spring campaign, but yesterday that all changed. He started at 7-2 favourite.
Off the ball, 700 metres to go. Crying Game striding up on the outside of Prattler. Bowheat on the fence, waits for the run. Storm is 3 out and 4 out. Desert Chill and Darcher is out wide, and Balance gets into the clear. Into the straight they race, 5:50 out. Storm going out after Prattler. Then Crying Game. Bowheat trying to get off the rail, and Balance comes at them quickly. Wide out, Balance strides up now to Storm from Bowheat Prattler. Then a gap in the race further back. Desert Chill followed by Berserk. But Balance, the Queensland Derby winner, has taken the lead inside the 200. Shows a good turn of foot, sprints away from Bowheat and Storm, then Desert Chill, Prattler and Gakwa, but Valance draws away, holds Bowheat and Storm at bay, and Valance down to the post for York, wins 2.5 Bowheat. Storm third from...
Well, a good performance by Valance, and Peter Eggleston deserved that luck change. He had a wet track in the Caulfield Cup and was belted out of the last on Derby Day. Watch for him in the Sandown Cup next week, David. I think he'll might notch another.
Yes, and he also made the comment to look out for Valance in next year's Melbourne Cup, Keith. Well, the other one yesterday was the Hilton Park Sprint over 1,100 metres, and Street Talk had also failed to fire in this preparation, but yesterday he also changed that.
At a length in front now from Grand Bay, a length and a half further back in the race. Maggie's Day third over on that side from Damascus Road, always a chance. Extracts is wider out, and they've got right away from Super Jackson down the grandstand rail. Chief Havoc now joined by Super Shaquille, Madison Point, Crepitus and Biolia. Cut Up Rough is trying to weave its way through, now starting to get clear from Identikit Power and Glory, and a long gap to Aerobic Prince. Over on the inside, Street Talk, the leader, down to the 250 metre mark. The outsider keeping up pretty well. Super Shaquille on the outside with Chief Havoc. Cut Up Rough is starting to go after them with Identikit. Street Talk in front over on the flat side. They're the leader. Grand Bay after it from Identikit coming down the outside. Street Talk in front of Cut Up Rough on Identikit to the line. And Street Talk, I'd say, has just won. Cut Up Rough...
Good ride, Street Talk winning there. The filly, Normie Weymouth, only having the one ride. And the interesting thing yesterday, inside and outside looked pretty similar, and good performance by the filly to win.
I think, Jim, that yesterday's track at Flemington was the best track they've had over the Melbourne Cup Carnival. It was uniform, it wasn't too hard, it was perfect. Why is it, Keith, they can get it right on the last day?
Yes, I think they got it wrong on the Oaks Day down the straight. Maxings, that Street Talk taking her stake earnings to almost $250,000. Not a bad score for an underrated mare. I think something has to be addressed there, and I'm sure it will. Maybe they need to bring the outside rail instead of moving the inside rail out. Well, they could do that as well, but bring the outside rail in on the days where there's a strong bias to the outside.
Keith, while I've been critical of the track, the Melbourne Cup Carnival was magnificent. It was a credit to all concerned, the VRC, the jockeys, the trainers and the horses. But Melbourne is the place to be at this time of the year, and congratulations again.
Never thought I would hear you say that, Max. Never thought.
I can afford to be generous. I'm leaving tonight.
Can I drive you to the airport?
Certainly.
Not because I miss you. I just want to make sure you get on the plane.
Poor old Keith Hilly. You've had to put up with him for a month, and now I've got him back after next Sunday, Keith.
I feel so sorry.
Thanks for your great comments throughout the carnival. Jimmy, all the very best. Back to track work this week, I believe.
I'll certainly go back, get myself organised, David, and get my leg over a couple and get my eye back in. I can't wait.
That's great. All the very best, Jimmy. And to Max, we'll see you in the studio next week.
For sure.
OK, Max Presnell, Keith Hillier, Jimmy Cassidy joining us to recap on what has been a fantastic spring carnival in Melbourne. We'll take a break and be back with more in just a moment.